right, so we are getting started with episode number 2. Thank you guys so much for the support that you guys left on the last episode, on episode number 1, our first ever episode. I did not expect at all to get more than 2 likes, but we got a couple of likes. I mean, I'm very excited and happy that we have a future here at Undertune the podcast. All right, and I'm your host, Javier Hernandez. I just wanted to just firstly say that, and I wanted to go ahead and bring up the conversation for episode number 2, which is gonna be witchcraft or witches. Reason why I'm bringing up this conversation is because I've been a skeptic about witchcraft and witches my whole life. I've sort of been following some stories, not so much to be honest, but as I mentioned in episode 1, the Paris Catacombs, I'm a big movie fan. Sorry, you guys, you're going to be hearing a lot of movies in this podcast, and that is the main reason of how I originated the love for horror and anything paranormal. So, today's topic obviously is going to be about witchcraft and witches. I pretty much know that I think it started around 1600s. I could be totally wrong. That's what it says here on Gemini, but let me give you guys a little bit of a background on what witchcraft is. If you don't know what it is, you're probably thinking about the broom, the hat, the going around town and causing misfortunes for people. That's what I thought. Growing up as a kid, I would watch scary movies and anything that was, animated for kids, and I will always see witches flying around in their brooms. But it's a little bit deeper than that. So here I'm looking at Wikipedia, and it says witchcraft is the use of magic by a person called a witch. Traditionally, witchcraft means the use of magic to inflict supernatural harm or misfortune on others, and this remains the most common and widespread meaning. Interesting. So, what Wikipedia is saying is they're performing dark magic, the presence of evil, so having evil intentions to harm someone. And just from my background of knowledge, I believe back then when they suspected, I believe it was majority of women doing just out of the ordinary activities. They would do killings, trials, try to frame, discover anything they can do to claim that this woman was a witch. If she was sick, if she was doing something that wasn't supposed to be done, they would point their fingers and say witch. Now here's the skeptic in me again. Were they really just sick? Maybe had a disease? Maybe were just abnormal at the time, and obviously without the technology or the sciences to understand what was going on, I guess the first thing that came to the mind was they're a witch. So let's kill them. Let's prove that they're not a witch. So that's what I believe. So I want to bring up a couple things also, what I understand of witchcraft and witches. What I understand would be different cultures have their own meaning of witches. I know for sure in the way I was taught, the witches are women that use dark magic to cast spells and to just really do harm. I have a movie in mind that I really want to bring up. It is called Paranormal Activity. I first just giving you guys a heads up. The Paranormal Activity saga, that will be an episode for the future. I love those movies. Just giving you guys a little bit of a teaser. But the reason why I'm bringing that up is because there's a specific movie called Paranormal Activity: The Marked Ones, and with that one, it starts off with a group of friends during high school graduating, and the main character, he lives in an apartment, and he pretty much is taping what's going on with like graduation, taping the party, and then out of nowhere, they hear some noise in their apartment. And I believe it was 2 stories, and they were living on the second floor. And so on the first floor, they heard some noise from an old lady, and oh, there you go, old lady. I'm not trying to, specifically point out it was just women, but um, pretty ironic there. And the woman was just screaming, blah blah blah, this and that. So I think moving on to the movie, these 2 guys, the friends, they decide to um, bring over women to their apartment complex, and to sneak them in. They were, I believe, before that even happened, the woman, she passed away, so that apartment was vacant. And since it was vacant, there was no one living in there, that older woman's apartment. So they brought the 2 women that they had a date with into that apartment from the old lady, and they were hearing noises, this and that. So just moving forward onto it, um, I believe that the main character was getting a sort of a feeling that he was being watched, and something attached to him. How was something attached to him? This is where this conversation goes. The older lady may have done some witchcraft, may have done something that could be really harmful to the idea of his energy. And so in the movie, his energy changed, where he was very angry, he became very physical, and after that, towards the end, there was a point where he was just not him. He disappeared, and his friends were wondering where he went. So then the friends decided to group up with I believe it was a um, gang affiliate members, to go and search for their friend, and they find a house. And in the house was a group of women. It was a sort of cult of women, and they were performing some sort of dark magic in order to get get the main character to obey them, and I believe, do what they pretty much say. So I bring up that conversation because I am based in Minnesota. It's up north, and that really correlates. That movie correlates to me because I have had buddies from my town here telling me that don't be surprised if you come across homes that look identical, because they could have sort of cult in there. And I brushed it off for a little bit. I didn't really mind it at all. And then buddy after buddy after buddy kept saying, I'm like, okay, there's a pattern here. What are you guys talking about? And they told me there is an area where these homes are identical. We really don't see who lives there, but it is believed that it is a cult of witches. And that's when I was like, okay, you guys, you're obviously bullshitting me. I don't believe you. It doesn't exist, this and that. But at the same time, if rumor has it around town, it could be true. And then the more I think about it, is when you go a little bit more up north in the little town I live in, it has scenery of trees. It's more of a hidden area, more woods area. And I'm like, okay, wait. Identical homes, hidden away in the woods where people usually do suspicious things with fires. And I told myself, oh, okay, so that makes sense. So, am I a believer of witches? I could be 50-50 on it. Do I believe in dark magic? I don't know at this point because I forgot. I believe they're, let me get the name, voodoo dolls. You know, voodoo dolls, you cause harm on a doll to cause harm on someone else. You get dark magic, perform rituals against these voodoo dolls, and somehow you cause the evilness to attach to them. I wouldn't believe just like a ordinary person would just, say, hey, I want this to happen to this person. I really do believe that you need some type of cause for it. That cause turns into the ritual, and then these rituals are done by dark magic, and then these dark magics are done by witches. What I would want to continue on with this conversation is, could there be a secret cult? Could there be a society of witches where in today's world, are they still out there? Could back then in the past, could they have been up to something? Could they have discovered something, but we are just brushing it off to the side? We don't know. I would possibly in the future maybe do some investigations. It wouldn't hurt. I could go always, to, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's called Salem, Massachusetts. I have to do a little bit more digging where witchery and witchcraft happened there. I could be totally wrong, guys, but I have to do more digging. But I also want to ask a little bit about when did witchcraft start, and the first discoveries really sets back in time, where it was just back in the 1400s or even before when this all started. And that's the thing too. Why is the idea of witches so popular back in the 1400s, for example, and in today's world, 2026? Why is it still talked about? If it didn't exist, we wouldn't be talking about it. Simple as that. If nothing's there, why talk about nothing? If something's there, something had to happen. That is my kind of thoughts about witchcraft. I would honestly never ever get involved with it, but to go and investigate and possibly bring a camera for you guys in the future and record, that'd be a cool idea. But the last topic and the last conclusion I want to talk about this is, I could be completely wrong. Don't quote me, you guys. But I've seen, I believe they're called tarot cards, where with tarot cards you can do readings and all that stuff for people, where you go see someone and they do readings on you. Why would you want to sit down and do a reading about your future or a reading about yourself? That's where my skeptic in me kicks in, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Could they, I'm not saying who specifically, but the people that do readings, could they be using any type of dark magic to understand your future? And if you were to go back to the beginning and in the middle of this conversation, I keep bringing up something that's very repetitive: dark magic. So, could these readers be the 2026 witches in today's world? You never know. But I want to know your guys' opinions on this. Feel free to, for sure, say, hey, Javier, you're completely wrong. Javier, no, this is the wrong date. It was on this time. Please go ahead, you guys, leave those comments in the comment section below. Let me know about your opinions. Again, I want to say thank you so much for listening to episode number 2 about witches. On episode number 3, we have a great topic that we'll be talking about, but that's a surprise for you guys. Well, I hope you guys have a good one, and we'll catch you on the next episode.